So what are we doing here, Russian?
We are commentating.
We're about to watch our dear friend Brian Whelan draft.
Everybody knows Brian. Everybody loves Brian.
And the reason for this is Brian, by his own admittance, is a terrible drafter.
Yeah, he's really bad.
Now, I'm also in this draft, sitting directly opposite Brian. Those are my
see-
fingers
you
in
can
there.
see Dennis just knocking over his deck box for no reason. Pro Tour style.
Pro Tour style.
Okay, so yeah, there's the Fleet Wheel Cruiser. He pretty quickly.
Highlights. Do you hear a helicopter outside?
I think there's actually a goddamn helicopter outside.
Well, we'll leave it in. Happens at the Pro Tour too. So I will take the Fleet Wheel
So
Cruiser.
Fleet Wheel
to the
Cruiser
front.
seems like a fairly clear pick. He's
And the reason for that being is it's colorless, I think, right?
it's colorless, and it's also just a very powerful card to begin with. He's also taking a look at the Renegade Freighter, but I don't think it's on the same level as the
I'm
Cruiser.
totally fascinated by this helicopter. Sorry. Not the most professional thing.
So he's having a peek at a few different cards here.
Yeah.
But
So it's between the Freighter and the Cruiser. I think the Cruiser
I think
is
the
okay.
Cruiser is probably where I'd go as well.
The Freighter might be better, to be honest.
I would disagree with that. I think that the
The fact that the Cruiser's free the first time.
yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
nice. And the haste is a nice effect.
Now, sitting directly to Brian's left is James Keating.
So one thing Brian's been practicing, hopefully, since this video was recorded, is shuffling a pack. Jesus, it can't be that hard.
What do we got here next?
So there's like,
So we're still open. We've got a colorless card so far.
yeah, Brian can take literally any card here. He's pulling the Riparian Tiger to the front.
Or the Bomap Zarbarge. I think
Zarbarge. I think taking two vehicles, first and second, is a little odd. And I think Tiger's just a stronger card.
I think
in general.
Angel might be better than the Tiger.
Which Angel there? Whisper
Whisper
Angel.
Angel.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Now, 6 is worse than a 5.
I also like starting drafts in green more than I like starting drafts in white.
I can see what you mean a little bit there, but I think white's probably the most powerful color in the set, which might dissuade you.
Well, I mean, the thing is, the green deck can play all the colors.
Right.
That's my favorite thing about white is probably the most powerful color, but you can play all the white cards in your green deck. You know.
Was he considering Build to Smash?
I think he was just to go with the.
That's terrible.
Yeah, no, that's just not.
With the Cruiser? Yeah, no, it's not good. Riparian Tiger is certainly a defensible pick there.
No, I think that was probably correct there from what I saw.
Yeah, certainly not way off. Tidy Conclusion?
Tidy Conclusions jumps out of the pack a little bit there.
Black-green is not a...
He's going for the Eddie Tailhawk. He's pulled that to the front. I don't think that's unreasonable. It's a pretty nice aggressive card to go with the vehicle.
You're one of the many people I've heard that call it Eddie Tail.
It's Eddie Trail.
I think it is Eddie Trail.
It's Eddie Trailhawk,
Okay.
but it's.
I think Eddie Trailhawk is similar in power level to High Spire Artisan. Really? And I don't know why you're taking a white card here. I would take Tidy Conclusion or High Spire Artisan.
I don't think High Spire Artisan's on the same level as.
Well, Tidy Conclusion is definitely above it.
Tidy Conclusion was probably the correct pick there.
I did it again.
Yeah.
Impeccable timing.
Kind of one of the not a
Welding
premium
Sparks.
removal spell, but Welding Sparks I think is a pretty clear front runner here.
Now, this might be an example of Brian getting too married to his colors here. And if he takes that impeccable timing.
Over the Welding
Oh,
Sparks.
that is a Welding Sparks, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks that way.
Yeah, it is. Brian, it's Welding Sparks. Brian, it's Welding Sparks. That should have been a Welding
So
Sparks.
he got married to the white very early on.
And, to his Eddie Trailhawk?
Yeah.
Which is not in anywhere... It's barely a pull.
It's a pretty classic trap people fall into.
Yeah,
which
it's
is
easier, yeah.
You take your first two cards and
you put the blinders on.
Like you saw it there, he didn't really look at any of the cards that weren't green or white.
He didn't even notice the Welding Sparks, really.
Which was 100% the correct pick there. The fourth pick, Welding Sparks, as well, is a bit of a signal.
At least
A
a
little
bit,
bit of a signal. It's a data point.
That's a fabrication module, which I think is
that way.
a reasonable pick.
Fabrication module's a little slow,
It's, yes. I mean, he already has an impeccable timing.
which is already not great.
I think the second one here, I mean, out of this pack, I don't know what I'm taking.
Yeah, I think
Remember, you and I would be in red.
That's true.
I think I would take the fabrication module there. That's a very strong card. I'm very impressed with fabrication module.
Yeah, fabrication module's decent. I like it. It's
great with the Hawk.
It's really good with the.
Hello, Brian.
You know the green one, the enchantment.
How large is
Durable
it?
handicraft.
Durable handicraft.
With fabrication module, you can just make if you get one.
And what do you think of the other one?
Am I thinking of the other one?
Fabrication module is when you're getting energy plus plus counter on a creature you control, and you can pay 4 and tap
What's
it
the
to
one that make? Oh, it's animation module that makes the
the
one
rare.
One.
Yeah,
It makes the one.
yeah, that's a great one.
That with that's what I'm thinking of. That with durable handicraft is the one that goes infinite for 2 mana 2/2.
I think the fabrication module would have been the pick there for me.
High Spire Artisan's pretty reasonable here.
I wouldn't have. I think I would have. Assuming we take the Welding Sparks, I would have been happy to take those Gremlins.
Yeah, I like. Okay, we gotta kind of.
We can't do that the whole time. I
Yeah,
guess.
no, we're now looking at
Well, but having everything has happened so far, I think High Spire Artisan.
High Spire Artisan's probably a decent pick.
I don't think pressure point's in consideration. I think High Spire Artisan. I'd rather have the ornamental courage than the pressure point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm not happy about either. I think High Spire Artisan's clear first.
Pressure Point is just it's a little too do nothingy.
Now,
No,
we should,
it can do some very strong things against vehicles. It's very good at shutting down vehicles.
there's also something we should say. It's right that we shouldn't harp on being like, oh, we've been red. But that kind of pivot point does drastically change the way your deck ends up looking.
Absolutely. So
Visionary Augmenter, he's got
Visionary
paid off
Augmenter,
here,
he's now, like, he pushed hard into white and he's gotten a little bit rewarded for it. It doesn't look particularly open, but it doesn't look particularly cut.
I think that later Visionary Augmenter has got to be some kind of white signal.
Yeah.
You know?
Oops.
Damn it, Ashin, you had one job.
You told me to put it on silent, didn't you?
I did. That I did do. Now here, we've got a Fragmentize. We've got a Wily Bandar. Brian, no.
Wily Bandar is not in consideration.
He took the Fragmentize. That's okay then, that's fine.
Yeah, I think he was just screwing with us a little bit there.
I think he was referencing a Halloween video.
Ah, right, I see.
Got a second Wily Bandar, unsurprisingly, and a lot of blue cards. So,
Yeah.
At this point, he wants the Paradoxical outcome he's considering, because it's the rare, I suppose.
I think he might just want it. Thriving Turtle, is that what that card is?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
None of these are do anything for him, so he takes the turtle, I suppose, because it's a turtle. That was a bit of a dud pack for our friend Brian.
Again,
You gotta do the old Artificer count here. That happens in every draft.
Inventor's Goggles. How many Artificers did I end up
People
with?
quite like Trusting Companion, actually.
Trusted Companion's fine in a vehicle-heavy deck. I actually
it
don't
can
mind
crew?
it because it can crew on its own.
Well, he's got the Fleetwheel Cruiser.
Yeah.
Herald of the Fair is fine.
Herald of the Fair, very fair card.
Nice.
I like these laying out his picks, kind of.
Bizarrely, self-assembler here for me, I think. You
Yeah.
probably not end up running it, but if you get another two of them, you're kind of flying.
Sometimes they make it in. I've never actually done the self-assembler thing myself, but
I've done it a
I've
couple
played against
times.
a few times. The decks I've found it to be really strong in are the red-black all-removal decks.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was drafting across the table from Brian.
Was it?
Yes.
Because then you just take every single removal spell, and then you know when you get to 5 mana, you're going to have a steady
There's
stream
me
of
tearing
threats.
the Paradoxical outcome in half.
Oh, no.
So we've been pretty on board with Brian's picks here, barring
barring
Welding
that
Sparks.
one kind of
Sparks.
turning point. But once he'd made now, I think if you're watching this sort of going, well, my draft game could stand to be improved as well. Then I think the biggest lesson you can take from this pack is you're not in green-white when you've taken a green card, a white card, and a colorless card.
Especially if that white card's any Trailhawk. If that white card's Aether Storm Rock or something,
Then,
you got a
may-
little
then
bit of a
maybe
push.
then maybe you commit harder. But he jumped
He's also been green, which means he can splash that Welding Sparks.
absolutely. Now, in fairness, he's not necessarily in green.
As it turns out,
And
no.
like white-blue is a reasonable path he could take here. The white-blue deck, though, doesn't really have a very strong identity in Gauntlet.
Not a good place, no. What do we got here? Teasing out the rare. It's the Sahili Rai,
Sahili Rai Planeswalker.
which is worth some, value if that's something you're interested in. But it's
I don't
not-
think it even is. I think it's $3 or $4 or something.
Oh, Harness Lightning.
Harness
is worth,
Lightning.
worth a similar amount. We imagine now we have Welding Sparks and Harness
If we
Lightning.
had a Weldon Sparks and no Harness Lightning, we'd be very happy. Now, if I'm Brian here, I'm taking Harness Lightning because
'Cause
I've
we
got
don't-
mostly white cards. Now, he's sticking to those couple of green cards. I think,
Now he's thinking might be I've passed some good red cards. Look, I might just want to look to improve my green here, and that's not insane. I don't hate that, but I think what is his only green card reparent target?
he has also the High Spire.
High Spires, and I think Harness Lightning's better than both of those.
I think Harness Lightning's definitely.
And in our world, we would obviously have the Welding Sparks as well.
Sure, but this is not our world.
Yeah,
But no, the point I was going to make is the lesson to take from that pack is be very careful about committing too hard early, and by committing I don't mean in terms of your picks, I mean in terms of what you're looking at.
yes,
Like
it's
he-
easy
he
to get
took
the blinders
a green
on.
card and a white card, and then stopped looking at anything that wasn't green or white, and missed what was probably the correct pick in Weldon Sparks. He's taking the Hunt the Week there again, trying to bolster his green a little bit. I don't think that's completely undefensible.
No, but I don't think.
But
It's,
I now Pima Outrider getting a little bit rewarded for it. Gear Shift Day is also not a bad one, but Pima
is that an
Outrider
animation? It's another fabrication
is
module.
a fabrication. I think Pima Outrider's got to be the pick here.
Fabrication module actually quite good with not Peanut Rider. So I'm thinking of Durable Handicraft's good with Peanut Rider. Gear Shift Ace is a card I like quite a lot, but
Gear Shift Days is strong, but it doesn't actually crew the Fleetwheel Cruiser, which is currently his only vehicle.
yes. So I mean, Peanut Rider is clearly the more powerful card there. Glint Sleeve Artisan's not bad either.
Not
mind you.
terrible at all, but I think Pima Outrider edges it just a little bit for me.
Another Gear Shift Ace.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's an unreasonable pick. He's leaning towards the Hawk, which I think is a little bit incorrect.
Another Hunt. Now
Another
we've got
Hunt
two
Elite.
impeccable timings and a Hunt. I don't think. I
Impeccable
think
timing, not a great kill spell, but one that works.
I haven't
There's
got
also
his-
a Wild Wanderer there, which I really like.
I'd rather have the Ace than the Well Wonder. I think a 2-mana 2 and first strike is good anyway.
It depends on how aggressive you're trying to be. I don't think a 2-mana 2/1 does much. I mean, it does hold some stuff back, but
I think it's better than the Hawk.
I was 100% better than the Hawk. Yeah, but
The Hunt the Week isn't crazy.
The Hunt the Week's not insane. Sometimes you just need to take removal.
Cloud Blazer, it's a great splash, bro.
Cloud Blazer's a really good splash, but I think given that his deck's kind of,
I want the Armorcraft Judge
I
here.
think you absolutely want the Armorcraft Judge, but he hasn't even brought it to the front. Oh no, there it is. So he's making the decision between Outrider.
Now,
and
Outrider's a more straightforward card than
yeah, absolutely.
than I would take the Judge there.
I would have taken the Judge, but I you know what? If he just wants to beat down, Outrider's a very, very good card.
I still think our Judge keeps your momentum going, and now he doesn't have many. That's a great card. Doesn't have many +1/+1 counters as of yet.
No, I think that's a pretty easy.
Servant in the Conduit.
Servant of the Conduit.
It's
Yeah.
foil.
It's also foil.
It's glinting.
Servant of the Conduit is one of the best green uncommons.
I think that's pretty fair.
I think
Give us a little foil shine
do you
there.
reckon it's the best green uncommon?
I'm struggling to think what's better.
I'd be willing to say that. Thriving
For
Rhino,
Rhino.
super solid.
Unfortunately for Brian, the gold green white card is not very
It's
good.
just terrible. Yeah.
I don't know if it's just terrible.
I think it's just terrible.
I think it's
I've
it's a poor man's inspired charge.
I've played go wide, green white aggressive decks multiple times in this format, and I have
Never
had
won.
engineered might and not played it in several of those decks.
Fair. Ooh, Arborback Stomper.
That's a very, very
And
strong one.
another Pima Outrider.
I think it's got to be the Stomper though.
For variety a little
I
bit.
mean, if I'm remembering his picks correctly, he's a little low on top end.
He is.
So I think just having a little bit of a kick there is nice.
I think you take the takedown here.
Yeah, I haven't found the deck while the streams works in.
I had your good friend Dan Gillen play a million of them against me.
Oh yeah.
Played 5 Cathartic Radiance and 3 Wildest Dreams.
Wow.
It was awful. He was like, "Look, it's basically like having demonic tutors." And then I was like, "Cool, attack for 5." And he's like, "Oh, okay." That was exactly. For those of you who don't know Dan, which is presumably almost all of you,
That was a pretty good impression.
I think it was pretty good. Cathartic Radiance in the meta. So. Wild Wanderer, that would have let you splash that. Cloud Blazer, Brian. I took a Pima out over it, didn't he?
He did. I know.
Yeah, that's
I-
fine.
I
That's
was
fine.
completely defensive.
Yeah, it's totally fine. So Brian's, there's a little couple things that I would have done differently,
Yeah,
and by no means are we absolutely correct.
Yeah, no, like some things are down to preference. Like the Armorcraft Judge versus the Outrider is definitely down to
I
preference.
think that's fair.
Some things, like again, it's at this stage now you basically can start ignoring other colors, but in green in this set in particular, it's dangerous to do so.
Yeah.
So I think he possibly should be looking at things he's not looking at the moment. That's the only criticism I've had at the moment, bar a couple of minor disagreements on a couple of picks. But just what I'd like to see from Brian at the moment is when a Cloud Blazer comes up or when a Harness Lightning comes up, he's looking at it a little more, at least considering it.
The thing is, though, I often found myself, even when I first started playing, I like the
Ninth
Patrol
Bridge
here. Yeah,
Really?
Patrol's fine.
I found that card really underwhelming.
I think that card's fine. I suppose he is in green for the Cobra. Yeah, the Cobra's fine.
Cobra's fine. Like the main function I found with the Cobra is that it activates some of your artifact matters.
It also just is a 2-drop, which is nice.
2-drop's fine. I don't know how much a deck like the one Brian's is shaping up to be. Oh,
That's Brian.
don't punch the camera.
Brian nearly knocked the tripod over. I remember that.
Just like the Pro Tour.
There's James setting it back.
Reassembling everything.
So I remember watching when I first started playing, watching the Pro Tour and thinking, man, I'd make it a lot, 90% of the same.
What's
There's-
going on here?
What happened here was James cut Riparian Tigers because he suspected Brian was in green
And is literally
and is
just
tearing them
ripping
up.
them in half.
Now, we've seen Brian's deck. I think he'd quite like another one of those.
He's got a Tiger and
What was the 5-drop he took?
the Thrag Tusk.
Yeah.
He's got both of those at 5. Maybe one
And the
more
Cruiser?
And the Cruiser's at 4.
Cruiser's at 4. I'm thinking of the Ballistic Charter.
4 is a little clogged at the moment.
I think maybe he doesn't even want the Tiger. So maybe that's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
I find myself thinking I'd make almost all the same picks as these pros. How difficult can drafting be? Individual picks sometimes matter huge amounts. Like, I hate to keep harping on it, but his draft would be so different, for better or for worse, if he decided to take the Welding Sparks.
Yeah.
Which I would have done, which means that I, sitting in the same seat as Brian, would have had a very different deck, and I think you would have as well.
Yeah. Now, it's not necessarily
Better.
a better deck.
Yeah.
Like, red hasn't been flowing particularly to Brian that we've seen
No.
so far. But it's very possible that at this point he'd be playing exactly the same deck, except he might be doing a bit more of... He might have taken a Wild Wanderer when he could have taken an Outrider. He might have taken an Attune with Aether. He might be trying to do sort of one of the multicolour green decks.
Yeah, he might be splashing his Welding Sparks and Harness Lightning.
And his Cloud Blazer maybe.
Yeah.
We don't know. But it's important, especially in this format, because there's so much fixing in green.
Now, if you can... Nah, well, he's been rewarded here.
What did he get?
Bristling Hydra.
Bristling Hydra. Wow. Okay, so sticking green.
Again, heavy on the 4s, though, but as far as 4s go...
It's one of the better ones.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's... I think there's almost nothing you take over Bristling Hydra at below rare.
Yeah, no. He's pretty excited about that, as he should be. I think if Brian classes himself as not being good at drafting, which I think based on this has been a little he's being a little unfair to himself.
Yeah.
But if you are not particularly good at drafting, or you perceive yourself as not particularly good at drafting, not splashing and sticking to fundamental curve out aggressive strategies will get you a lot of the way there.
Yeah, cards that affect the board, not messing around with anything weird, and to be fair, like
Oof.
no, the Sage, is that the Sage?
Cultivator of Blades.
Cultivator of Blades, that's a great one.
It's a better Wild Beastmaster.
Yeah. Is that uncommon? No,
It's a rare. Brian, don't take that.
Oh, you can't take the Hawk over the Cultivator.
Now, he's got some good things to jump with that Hawk. Stompers and Fleetwood
Cultivator's
Cruisers.
way too good. Cultivator's way too good.
Brian, no.
Please no. Please
Brian,
no.
no!
Okay, that I think is just
That stings.
completely wrong. Now, a lot of the time I've been like, oh, it's small percentage margins. Eddie Trail Hawk. I have it maybe 5 or 6 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a... Oh,
Cultivator's easily an 8.
Brian, please take the sky with a shot. Oh, thank God. I thought I didn't see it for a second. I didn't see it for a second.
Yeah, Cultivator was definitely correct.
Yeah,
Skyward Shot is really nice.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take Appetite over.
No. Appetite's a card. If you pick it up, you pick it up and you're fine. He's already got a Fragmentize, too.
Yeah, doesn't need the Appetite.
Now, there are considerations. Brian was chronically low on 2-drops, which he is pretty low. He's got the Hawk. It's not that kind of format, though.
The discussion we're now having is getting a little bit like now Brian again saying he's not very good at draft, sticking to fundamentals, might not be in the headspace of going, well, this isn't a very 2-drop heavy format, or you know, that kind of thing. He might just be like, well, I need a 2, or I'm aggressive so I don't want a 6, do you know?
Yeah.
And also individual cards can sometimes be hard to evaluate. Cultivator Blades, you know,
I can look that up just in case I'm confirm to myself what that card does.
that's the one that it's what creatures can't be blocked by barrier.
It's only a 5-drop.
Yeah,
You were thinking of
I was thinking of the uncommon.
can't remember the name of that either. Avery Mechanic here is pretty good for Brian. Could be the Arborback Stomper. Commensurate Festivities.
I think the mechanic's probably the pick. Like you say, he's low on 2-drops.
Could take the Attune if he had. If he'd picked up splash cards earlier, the Attune would be nice here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at this point in the pack, having not had those splash cards, you might as well just take the Solitude. Or the Aether Hook. I don't think you need that in a 2-color deck.
You really don't need that in a 2-color deck.
It's kind of sometimes just worse.
Than having
a forest.
A basic, yeah. Absolutely.
I think here you want, and are pretty clear in wanting the Ornamental Courage.
Yeah.
Again, I haven't been keeping too close an eye on his creature count, but he's been taking most of the creatures in my experience, I think.
That sounds about right.
I think you want the Ornamental Courage. I think Ornamental Courage is quite a good combat trick, actually.
Yeah, it's fine. It's one of the ones that can... It works well defensively, which is, you know, rare in a combat trick.
I don't think I agree with that.
I don't like Ninth Patrol at all.
Yeah, you're lower on it than I am
I
overall.
have that
yeah.
very, very low.
Well, we did a serious low in the middle part there, so there's a lot of...
Dubious challenge.
Do you take the second Fragmentize here?
What else have we got?
I mean, in the event that you want one, there's a good chance you want both. You know?
Yeah.
If coming up against some trains, I would like to... If my opponent plays Renegade Fighter, I want 2 Fragmentize in my deck.
Absolutely.
You know, because you're just going to... There you go. Because you're just going to lose that some percentage of the time.
And there's targets in most decks.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're sad if you're hitting a servo with it, but it's that, you know, you did something with it. But you're delighted if you're hitting a... See you next Friday. Freighter.
Absolutely.
Or Bomat Bazaar Bark or something. Or any of the enchantments.
Yeah,
it
does hit enchantments as well. It comes up. I've killed a couple of Midnight Oils with it, and it's felt pretty good.
Well, it hits the what's the white one?
Which one?
Revoke Privileges.
It does hit a Revoke Privileges. That comes up.
Speak of the Devil. That is an extraordinarily late Revoke Privileges.
That's very, very late.
And another Fragmentize, a foil this time.
Easily the pick.
Yes. So Brian has actually drafted a pretty solid deck here.
Yeah, no, he's gotten some nice stuff for his colors in the rare slot, and
which is out of his control.
Yeah, and so like I mean, the thing is, there's the Armorcraft Judge. I think that's definitely the pick. You've got multiple Outriders, Thriving Rhinos.
Yeah.
No.
2 Hunt the Weeks as well. I think what we've established
he may just not
like it.
He may not like it. He may be lower on it. He may just not have played with it.
Maybe, because I think it's quite good. If you draw a card off it, it's great. If you draw 2 cards off it, you are flying.
Way far ahead. But yeah, single, like 4 mana 3/3 draw a card, very powerful card.
4 mana 3/3, fine. Below par, but
yeah.
I've played worse cards than that.
Absolutely.
4 mana 3/3 draw a card, great card.
Absolutely insane.
This was not a good
4 mana 3/3 draw 2 cards.
This was not fun.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely.
Now, when he's got the Thriving Rhino, like I said, the Pima Outriders, he's got the 2 Hunt the Weeks, he's got a Kujar Seed Sculptor. Now, Kujar Seed Sculptor I think I would take here. I like that card quite a lot.
I do.
Mind you, he doesn't have the judges that we would. Now, Aerial Acrobatic Maneuver, very good with Armback Stomper, very good with the Hydra, very good with some of his Fabricate cards as well. So I think it's defensible.
I haven't actually played that many acrobatic maneuvers in this format. I haven't.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty solid. The issue is Pima Outrider is generally better as a 4/4
Sure.
than as a 3/3 server, and in that case, you're not getting any value out of the
Right.
Acrobatic Maneuver. But it lets him make extra energy off his Tigers, all that good stuff.
So overall,
You're gonna watch him. We're gonna see
some deck building. So, like, obviously, in the words of the great lion Aslan, no one is told what would have happened. Do you know?
Yes.
But the deck came together okay. I think, like, if Brian is looking for ways to improve, I think the biggest one would just be to consider all the cards in the pack, not just the ones that you believe to be
The best.
your
Yeah.
colors. The other thing is that's kind of format dependent. This format is very deep. There's a lot of very powerful, like there's a lot of reasonable cards. It's not hard to make playables, as it can be in formats like do you remember M14? You were often struggling for a 23rd, that kind of thing. So you had to commit very early. Whereas in Kaladesh and similar kind of higher power level formats, you can stay open for a lot longer.
So I don't know if this is just me, and I don't know how important this is, but Brian is laying his cards in a way that makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, I don't understand what's happening. I think he's just throwing them at random.
Is this the cards he's eager to play? Is that what's
That's
happening?
the ones he wants to main.
I would hope. But he did it in such a strange order.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with that.
I assume that was what the card he wants to main. Man, Brian could have been
He could
now
also
he's,
just be
now he's
screwing
screwing
with
with us. But he could have been counting at 23 or something to that effect. There, 24 with the Aether Hub. The Aether Hub, I think, was also a misstep.
Yeah, the Aether Hub didn't make a lot of sense to me. He could have had something that was actually going to contribute.
He also has nothing that uses single increments of energy,
Yep.
which means you can't even use it for a
tiger
or a rhino or a hydra.
Oh,
The Servant, my mistake.
and also the Hawk.
Oh yeah.
Hawk jumps for 1 energy.
He's got 2 of them. We know he quite likes the Hawk.
So maybe he was kind of... I don't understand maining the Appetite. That seems a little...
If you have Appetite and Fragmentize, I don't mind maining Appetite. It's instant speed. It gives you some life. It's not as restricted as Fragmentize. You know,
Sure.
you can hit self-assemblers and things with that.
So there's the Wild Wanderer. I don't know if that's making it in.
Wild Wander's okay, but he's got a lot of better 4-drops, so I don't think he needs it.
And it's not like he has good 6s or above he wants to get to. His curve stops at 5.
Yeah. It doesn't have any mana sinks either. I thought the Wild Wander's making the cut. But if we can do a quick count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is 25 cards.
So he's making cuts now.
And it's 25 including the other, so it's actually only making 1 cut.
Right.
If you're you, what do you cut here? I think I have to cut the Trusting Companion.
If I'm me.
Yeah, if you were you. If you were Brian,
If I was Brian, yeah, no, I'd be cutting the Trusted Companion probably.
His removal's quite good. Revoke
A lot of very good removal.
But I think he sacrificed some picks on those early impeccable timings.
Yeah, no, they're not...
They're not as good as they appear at first blush.
But you kind of have to read the room with that sort of thing, because if you want one in a room full of people who know that, you can pick it up late. If you want one in a room full of people who just grab removal,
Yes.
you can't really pick it up late.
Yes,
so.
I suppose what you mean. I suppose I see what you mean. So, overall, if you were to rate Brian's drafting ability based on this draft alone, out of 10.
Out of 10,
10 being Ben Stark, 0 being me.
yeah. No, okay, so yeah, 10 being best limited player in the world. I think I'm putting Brian somewhere around a 4 or 5, which is not disparaging him at all. That's
Where would you put yourself?
where would I put myself? I put myself at maybe a 6.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think closer to 4 than 5 at the moment. The thing is, what's nice about he's got the idea down.
Yeah.
Like his card evaluation, you know, while we may disagree on certain picks, wasn't terrible. So
Yeah, I'm not too interested in us thinking that Armorcraft Judge is better than PMA Writer.
Yeah, no, that's not really a thing. Like now there were certain times like the Cultivator definitely was.
Yes, but what I'm more interested in is the ones where we can identify a reason behind it, like Brian getting too married to White, or overvaluing impeccable timing, which pushes him that way.
Putting the blinkers on straight away and not kind of reading all the cards in the pack, not making informed enough decisions.
Even given back pack 1 being all correctly Brian's, I think he still takes the Harness Lightning.
Yeah,
and he didn't. So again, there's nothing to say that our words are gospel. And if you happen to disagree, please do let us know in the comments below. So we're in the middle of round 2, and Brian won his first round, and this one seems to be going well as well. Brian, how you doing? Excellent stuff. Ushing Lions and Gary Fitzpatrick. So all our players start on 20 life, just like in the game Magic the Gathering, except they only draw 3 cards. So I want you each to draw your 3 cards now. I'm going to take it in turn, asking them questions. Really, really weird trivia questions about Magic the Gathering. If they get their question right, they draw a card. If they get it wrong, they lose 1 life. Because this is a fancy live show, if they get their question right, we're also going to throw packs into the audience for that section. So you're all rooting for Kirsty, you're all rooting for Usheen, and you're all rooting for Gary. Perfect.